What's up, YouTube? This video is going to be about the PENTAX FA Star 600 f4 lens. Getting it mounted onto a tripod, using a gimbal, all that fun stuff, all the ins and outs of if you are interested in this lens or you just want to see me struggle with it. I'm just kidding. Just basically, the options you have in regards to utilizing it and getting it mounted up on a tripod and all the things you need to be aware of if you're going to get a ridiculously heavy lens such as this. So I guess just to get started, I guess first things first. Oh, by the way, before I continue, or as I continue, this is being shot on the PENTAX K-3 Mark I with the Sigma 1770 f2.8-4 DC Macro HSM. So first things first is you want to remove your camera because you're not going to be using the ball head. It's just not something you're going to want to be doing. So let me just remove that. And this one is pretty simple. Just unscrews and that's it. Then you're going to want to mount your gimbal. Big gimbal. Where's the center point here? Come on. There we go. All right, there we are. And just spin it, spin it, spin it. Locks in place. Boom. There you go. That's done. I have it facing like so. Okay. Let's see if that's all the way in the frame. Of course it's not all the way in the frame. So let me pull this back. There we go. Actually, I guess to make this easier for you guys to be able to see, I will do that. Okay. And for this part, let me actually move this closer so you can see exactly what I'm doing here. Hopefully if we zoom in a bit, it won't get too dark. Hopefully that's in focus. I'm not using focus peaking, which I should be, but I'm not. Okay, so in regards to mounting this, you want to have your tripod plate on, tripod plate or lens plate on the bottom already mounted, secured as tight as possible. This is a very front heavy lens, which is why I have it mounted in the front, towards the front of the lens. And I am waiting for another plate that'll actually extend all the way. Now, the trick with this is you want to have this balanced. So basically, once it's on, come on, get on there. You on? Yeah, you're on. Okay. So once this is actually on, what you're going to want to do after you tighten it up, once you have it mounted here, you don't do any adjustments yet, just because of the fact that you need to balance it to the camera once the camera is mounted. So let's take this cover off. That's fine. All right, let's get this out. Okay, and now let's mount the camera. And then once the camera is mounted, it'll be all about balancing the camera to the lens and the gimbal. So now that I have everything mounted, maybe a bit difficult to see, such a large lens. Okay, so from here, what you want to do is loosen the top just to see if the lens balances. So once you let go, it should stay in place. And there you go. So I have pretty much figured out the balance point. in regards to the lens. Now, if I were to move this slightly, say slightly forward, so let me just loosen that, push the lens slightly forward. Now you'll notice as soon as I let go, it starts moving. So that is not balanced. So move it back. It's not balanced. You want to make it basically weightless. Move slightly more. Should be okay. Should be basically weightless. That's how you want to have it actually balanced out. So once everything's loose, you can literally just move it all over the place. Don't have to worry about anything. And once you let go, that's it. It just stays where you have it pointed. And then you can walk away. And you want to have a very sturdy tripod as well. And any additional things that you add, for example, if I were to add the teleconverter, it would actually change the weight balance of the lens itself. So I would have to then readjust this because there'd be a bit more weight on the back. For example, here if I move the lens hood, it's just, I move the lens hood back and loosen this back up, you'll see once I let go, it's not in balance anymore, right? So with a prime lens, using a gimbal is pretty straightforward. You just get it all completely balanced up, and and that's it. However, if you are using a zoom lens, as you saw when I moved the lens hood, when you're using a zoom lens, the balance will change if you're zooming in and out. But other than that, this is pretty much it. And on the side here, there's a bunch of markers. This is also part of the balancing system. If I, for example, raise this up, hopefully I can because this lens weighs so much. So if I raise the lens up and lock that, so if I raise it up and then lock that back in place, the balance is going to change. See, once I get to this point and I let go, the lens just keeps going, right? So that's what these height adjustments are for, is to get the exact balance. You want to have it pretty much so this section here is in line with the center point of the lens. So on this lens, it is pretty much at the very, very bottom. And that's, let's see if I can actually raise it up just a tad. Just to see, I'm just curious. So if I raise it up just a tad, actually, let's see if that does it. It's okay, not too bad. Still a bit off. So, yep, looks like it's all the way down at the bottom is where this one's got to go. Just a smidgen, like you couldn't even detect it. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, so the other option that you do have in regards to shooting with this lens is actually reversing the tripod collar, which I'll show you right now. So, how am I going to show you this? Oh, this is a pretty heavy lens. Okay, so I think I was about here. So, in regards to the tripod collar, so there's an unlock, you can unlock it, and then rotate, so you now have a carry handle instead of having this at the very bottom, so you can just carry the lens like this. Camera is still normal, and you just use yourself as a tripod because it's very front heavy lens. So secure your elbow and there you go. Still a bit awkward, still pretty heavy, but it does balance well. And those are pretty much the fundamentals of using this thing either on gimbal or handheld. It is manageable handheld, believe it or not, once you reverse the tripod collar and just use it as a handle, walk around with it. When you're ready to shoot, you've got a nice smooth texture to hold in your hand. It will weigh you down over time though, because it is a 15.4 pound lens, but it is what it is. Yeah, so if anyone's curious about which tripod I'm actually using, let's put this down here. I will link that in the description, and I always call these things like fax machine numbers. What is this? It doesn't say. It's a Benro Bat series. I can't remember the exact model. It's actually written on here. Yeah. Okay, so it's a FBAT 24C carbon fiber, and the gimbal itself is actually a, I don't even know if it's written on the gimbal. It is a GH5C carbon fiber gimbal. Tripod supports, I believe it was 35 pounds. The ball head that it came with is 25 pounds, and the gimbal itself, I believe, was up to 50 pounds, if I remember correctly. The cool thing about this tripod, actually, is the fact that the legs lock in multiple positions. So, for example, if you're in a very, very tight spot, and you probably could do, I don't know if I would recommend it, but you probably could do it when you're using a large lens, such as the FA600 f4, is the legs actually lock in multiple directions. So if there's a wall here, you can actually, and you're in a tight space, you can actually lock the leg up against the wall and still have the other two legs as support. Or you can have it here, which is also good if there's rocks and things and it's just awkward positioning. You can change the location of the legs. I haven't seen a tripod that does this. This is awesome. This is, oh man, it's awesome. And the legs fold up for more compact storage. And that's pretty much it. So, let's lay you down here. So, that's pretty much it. I know everyone's been waiting for some FA Star 600 f4 stuff. I did want to get out and shoot today, but it's still minus 20 something with the wind chill in Ontario, Canada, so I wasn't about to go freeze to death out there. But hopefully soon, hopefully there'll be a couple of warmish days, so to speak. It is winter here, you know, but I'll be able to get out and actually do some shooting with the lens. I want to shoot with the lens. But that's pretty much it for this video. If you like the video, leave a like. If you haven't already, please do subscribe. Always helps out. If you want to support the channel, that information's at the bottom of the description. And I will link the products that I used in regards to the tripod and the gimbal. And yeah, that's it for me. I'm going to go. You will see me on my next video. I'm out.